And welcome, gentle viewers. Last week we showed you room 10 and the benefits of owning a stepladder in your own bedroom. This week we bring you room 9 with the infamous dirt and the painting. The painting that might even be Theseus lending his copy of Maze to the Minotaur. That's how old this book is. This is Mazecast. Take it away, Vincenzo.
All right. All right, we're going to be talking about room 9 tonight. It's another one of the rooms where I feel like it seems like we've got some good stuff to say about it, but we're on a totally different page from where White Raven is on the Abyss. I'm sure we'll talk on both sides of it. Beals is here with us tonight. Alex, of course, is here with us, gave us our introduction. Sarah couldn't be here tonight. She passed out drunk moments before we could go on the air. Could not be awoken for the show. We could have just left the screen up there with her passed out carcass, in front of the camera, but thought it would be disrespectful to even mention the problems she's been having with the booze lately. So we'll allow her to keep her dignity. Okay, room 9. This is the other half of the tunnel that we talked about in a room 27 episode. Not going to dwell too much on here, but this is where the tunnel starts. You can tell because this is where the dirt is piled up, and the tunnel ends in 27. If we could go to 27 from here, I guess we might want to, but we can't, because for some reason this tunnel is blocked off from this side, even though it's open from the other side. Beals, did you want to run through Abyss solutions on this? I think you do a better job than I do, because I don't understand something, and then I don't do a good job of presenting it in a respectable way. I just sarcastically groan and roll my eyes.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I wasn't really prepared to do anything, but I did look over the solutions beforehand, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward because there are only 2 solutions that are considered confirmed on the Abyss right now. And I think that they're both pretty good, although I think that they're both maybe, each one perhaps is a little, perhaps contains more detail than it needs to. One solution that I think is really pretty solid is it lies in the last 2 lines of the text. And let's see, the 2 lines are after the thoughtful one muses about the possibility of it being a trick. The last lines are, "They all looked at me. Yes, I said, I'm sure you're right about that. With doubtful looks they left for." And so people have commented, of course, on the appearance of right and left here in such close proximity, which seems it seems like it almost can't have been coincidental, especially because there are just 2 doors. One is clearly on the left and one is clearly on the right. And so there's a strong temptation to get some meaning out of that. And the what's confirmed on the Abyss, which I think is pretty good, is that we have yes and sure going together with the word right in that sentence. And we have doubtful going along with left. And so, and I know that we've talked about, like, oh, is the guide really reliable? Because he's the one who's talking, and of course, so we can get into that. But just superficially, having yes and sure going along with right, and having doubtful going along with left, seems like a pretty good indicator that we should take the right door. However, on the Abyss, what I meant when I said that there's a little bit too much detail, I don't know how sold I am about the idea of I'll just quote from the Abyss. In the text, the line, "I think we're supposed to think it's a trick, that is the trick," is meant to prime us to look for a couplet. By the couplets think, think, and trick, trick. And so the solution goes on to posit that the last 2 lines are a couplet. And I think that's a bit of a reach, and I'm not sure that I'm really sold on that. I think that's more detail than is necessary. There could be something else going on with that line, the trick line, which we could discuss later, but I'm not really convinced that that's necessary or really satisfactory at all as an addition to what already seems like a pretty solid solution.
We thought you'd say that.
You thought I'd say that? Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about it before. Like, I don't think Beals would buy this, and you don't.
No, but I do like the last part of it, but
yeah.
I just don't like the setup. I don't think the setup's necessary.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment, actually. I think you did. That's again, that's why you should do it, not me, because I would not have separated out the parts that are good from the parts that are bad. I would have just said that it didn't make any sense to me, and then grimaced at the camera and asked questions about my life. But I think the think trick seems to totally miss the boat to me. Because whatever it means, it seems certainly to be relevant that the word trick appears 3 times in the text, and the word think appears 3 times in the text. And if you're going to do something with those words, it seems the fact that they occur 3 times apiece seems a lot more relevant than that they occur twice in the same sentence. And even given that, that just does not build a relationship to those last 2 sentences where it says left and right. And you don't need anything to draw your attention to that. I mean, when you see right and left in close proximity like that, you're going to think directionally right and left. And I think you hit the nail on the head with right and left. It certainly seems there to make us think that it means something about right and left, if nothing else. And I agree, though, that if the correct door here were 3 instead of 18, I think we could very easily say, well, the guide is suggesting right, and that's wrong. And it says that they left, so what they actually did was go left, so left is right. So I don't think it really provides anything you can lean on, ahead of time to say what the right door is. But a lot of times what we're doing with this is trying to figure out why statements are there at all, or why pictures are there at all. So even if this is just there to confuse or mislead you, that's almost certainly seems to be what it's there for. That's why there's right and left in 2 sentences like that.
Well, I was going to say, Greg mentioned this a while ago, that one thing you can count on in the maze is if the word left or felt was used in a room, then you go in that direction. That just happened.
Only felt, not left.
Very felt. Really? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Just the occurrences of...
Yeah, just felt.
Yeah, that makes it such a weird... It seems to me pretty unlikely that means anything because, well, we may have talked about this on a previous show, but if Manson really intended for anagrams of the word left to always clue that you should go left, then it seems strange that the actual word left would not reliably mean either left or right.
Yeah, I don't feel that solid about that either, but it's one of my only... I think it was me and Hidden Mystery. I think that was our little research project together, and that's one of my only credited solutions on there, so I'm going to take it in. I don't feel like great.
I'm 100% behind it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So there is one more confirmed solution on the Abyss, and it has to do with the, well, confirmed but incomplete according to White Raven, which is, I'm dubious of because it already seems a little overstuffed again, which is this whole 3 blind mice thing, which everybody notices in this room. And basically, the bottom line is door 3 is bad because it's associated with 3 blind mice, and you don't want to be the blind mice running around getting your tails chopped off or whatever. But then there are all kinds of other things that are meant to tie in with that. Apparently, the going around in circles ties in with that. Apparently, the sword ties in with that because the farmer's wife uses a knife to cut off their tails, I believe. Apparently, the light on the other side, on the far right side of the room, is meant to contrast against the blindness of the mice, and so lead us to 18. And there are many other details that go in here that I'm not necessarily individually sure about any one of them, but it feels like 3 blind mice is a pretty good warning nursery rhyme. So I could see that being a warning away from 3. So as a just in the larger picture, I agree with this, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe there's something we're missing that really knocks this one home.
Well, here's my problem with it: is Vince was telling me the Abyss solution, the accredited solution said that the blind mouse combined with the 3 guys clues to 3 blind mice, but I was saying I don't think you need the 3 guys to clue to the 3 blind mice because the blind mouse by himself does that. I mean, there's no other nursery rhyme associated with a blind mouse. I'm tongue twisted today, but you get my point.
Yeah, you don't need the picture of the 3 men, you mean?
Well, they're not necessary for that guy to clue that thing. The mouse, he's...
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, you get it by itself, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Not only is it unnecessary, but it actually would seem to defeat the point of the clue if the blind mouse is supposed to make us think of 3, so that we associate 3 with the blind mouse, then we don't need a picture of 3 guys to give us the 3 for 3 blind mice, right? We want
I'm saying.
the door to fill that hole for us. But I think Alex is totally correct. I mean, there's just no mistaking that for a blind mouse. There's no other context for a blind mouse, really, other than 3 blind mice. It's right next to door 3, so I think clearly 3 blind mice is what's being suggested here. But yeah, all that other stuff that ties in with it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Like, have people ever ventured any ideas for anything to do with the 3 men?
Yeah. His glasses. Because his glasses are shaped like the 8 and the 18, and then his nose could be like a weirdly shaped 1. I remember that. That was a clue. I don't know if it was accredited as a star, but it was definitely posted. I can't remember who did that. It wasn't me. It was somebody else.
It was probably me. And I mean, that's dumb. But it's not. It's as good or better than a lot of the found numbers in the maze. The funny thing about that third guy, like, the features are so indistinct on the first 2 guys, you know? Yeah. And then the third guy does have very clear glasses, and the nose is really highlighted on there, too. It does seem like something's going on with the glasses and the nose.
If he didn't have a beard, I would think it was the founders of communism.
I mean, the mouse kind of has a similar 8 thing going on with his ears, really.
Well, back to the mouse. I mean, I think it's just as simple as coupling the mouse with running around in circles, like, and taking that as a clue. Saying, okay, if you pick 3, then you're going to be running around in circles. I just think, it can be simpler than all this other deliberation about combining it, etc., etc.
Yeah, but again, if 3 were the correct door, I think we could just as easily say, well, the room is cluing blind mice. Blind mice goes with 3, so it's indicating we go 3 blind mice. But because 3 is the wrong door, we say, well, it's indicating 3 blind mice, but it's bad to be a blind mouse, so you don't want to go to 3. And it seems like
when is it ever good to be a blind mouse?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, blind mice are bad. But in the same way, like the Abyss solution, when it says, like, the sword is pointing to 3, so it's suggestive of the knife cutting off the tail, so that's bad. But, 18 has an angel with a sword and a picture behind it. Sword could be bad too, right? So 18's bad. I mean, that's actually right there in the doorway.
Yeah.
It's.
I don't see a sword. Do you see a sword with the angel?
You don't see the sword upright?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just see the angel flying away.
As a sword. Open your
I
goddamn
eyes.
I've got the book, man. I've got it in front of me. It's not. I don't see any sword. That's debatable. I think people should comment on this. If you think there's a sword, then comment.
Could somebody just tell them there's a fucking sword already so we can move on with our lives? Because the angel.
I see it.
Okay. Here's my thoughts on the 3 blind mice and the cut off tail stuff and all that jazz. I think the relevant thing about the third guy there, you've got 3 bearded men. The third man actually has his beard cut off at the chin, like it's shaved there. So it's like the tip of his beard has been cut off.
You've got mutton or whatever they're called.
Well, it's not, but it connects and it goes down, and he's paired with these other 2 guys who seem to have really big, full beards. So I think what I'm getting there is the end is cut off. That's what I'm saying, at least. You don't have to like it if you don't want to.
No, go on.
Okay, so we've got the tip of that cut off. He's got the blind mouse there, which we associate with having the tail cut off. And then we've got the painting there that's been cut open, which I think is all of which is suggesting we look to the shovel that's had its tail cut off, the end of the shovel cut off there, which points the way to door 18.
Yeah, this is sounding more plausible.
I mean, that's it, though. I think that's where it stops.
I don't think that you can decisively say that the shovel is the end point of that series of observations.
Because you could say the shovel points the other way towards the other stuff.
You could say the shovel
I'm just saying,
is cut off in order to get the
the
T.
final step there.
Hmm?
What makes the shovel the final step?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's fair. Why isn't it? Why don't we say the shovel something with the end cut off, so that makes us look towards the painting.
And then the mouse is pointing to 3, so...
Well, I don't think the mouse is pointing to 3, though, is it?
Well, it's sort of tilted toward the... I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. It doesn't...
Right. No, it's fair. I think that's a fair point, and it's something I guess I probably should have anticipated. I don't know. Of the 3, I guess I really only see the tip of the shovel being a clear pointer towards one of the doors, although I guess, I mean, the sword in the painting does... Although that's not a cut-off tail, though. It's not a cut-off thing. It's just a sword. It doesn't really fit into this. I guess I don't really see the mouse as indicating 3, or the cut painting as indicating 3. There are 3 men there, but if the relevant thing is just the end of the beard being cut off. But I don't know. I guess it's a fair objection that, I'm saying these 3 things are there to suggest, cut-off tail, and then we look to the cut-off tail of the shovel, and that points the way. But just because those 3 things are grouped together doesn't mean that they go to clue something else. That other thing could be just part of the same family of clues. I don't know. I think that's a fair objection. Alex, did you want to say something about the apple and the angel?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Somebody mentioned that the apple and the angel, because they're completely separated from all these other 3 related clues, and because they're both related to each other, that for that reason they point the way. In combination with the end of the shovel there. I also, just to put my 2 cents in about the shovel, is because we can't escape through the door, the shovel is still a way to escape in terms of like using it as an object of escape, and so it's pointing towards 18. So for that reason, it's like you can't go through that door like mine shaft. So but still follow the shovel regardless.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say about the apple and the angel. I thought you were
What do you think I was going to say?
Well, that they're A objects, and so that gives us A, which is 1.
Which goes back to
Which goes with the 8-pointed star, which is off to the right of 18.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I was going to mention the star separately because I don't know. The star is not an A object. 7? You said it's not 7?
No, I mean, the apple and the angel are strange because they do suggest A just because they're both out of place A objects together like that, but with only 2 objects, it's not it's not the strongest, starting letter grouping we've got. There are a lot of rooms that have collections of objects starting with the same letter. I don't know whether 2 is enough of a pattern to say that what's going on here is the letter A.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, the star. With the star, how would the star fit into that at all, if at all?
It has an 8 because it has 8, so that the 1 and 8 go together.
Yeah.
It could almost just go with the angel at that point, though, because they both have their heavenly thing going on. I never thought to associate the apple with the angel. When I was looking at this, like years ago when I was first looking at this room, I don't know, I just thought I saw the angel and the star going together. But I guess angel by itself isn't strong enough to give you 1, really, just because it begins with A.
Well, the angel and the star are going in the same direction for the most part.
Yeah, that's kind of why, and the fact that they're both found in heavenly firmament.
Yeah, and it's like escaping, like you can, going off, flying away, right? It's getting away from the loop.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Eden-y type thing there at the door too, with the apple and angel with the sword maybe guarding the way. Here's something to make me, or maybe others, skeptical of other Roman numeral solutions in the maze.
No.
There are 3 clear rafters on the ceiling here, which is like a Roman numeral 3.
Oh shit.
It's room
like
15. All over.
Wouldn't seem like much, but there aren't many rooms in the maze where you can see the ceiling.
It's true.
It's pretty rare, and I mean, he gave us 3 solid beams there, right at the top. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
He also
We're the
gave
right answer. We'd definitely be leaning on that.
Well,
Yeah, but you could count the 2 on the ends, and then it would be 5 rafters, which is the Roman numeral for 5.
Yeah, let's mix numerals and Arabic characters. You also got the rip in the painting, which forms a triangle. Two triangles, actually. Black and white.
Hmm. What do you make of
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I've tried to look at black, white mirror shapes in the maze, looking for a path there, and haven't been able to do anything with that.
You know, this is not the first room that has been obsessed with room 3.
What's the
There
other
is
one?
an. Is there any significance to that, you think?
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about room
Sorry, I
15.
missed that.
Oh, about how room 15 is.
I was saying how both rooms obsessed with the number 3
Yeah,
specifically.
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I always had this thought that even if, like, say there's a room, like, let's take 15 for example, where there's 3 is involved in each of the 3 numbers, that even cluing to one number, such as 37, like, you only really have to clue to 7 to get 37 because 3 appears in the other ones. But what I'm saying is, in room 9, you could apply that, I think, with the number 8. You know, if you with the 8-pointed star, you only really need the one clue. You don't need a 1 because there's no 1 in 13.
yeah, that's true. Although it helps signal the intentionality of it, you know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
just looking for one numeral in one of the door numbers can lead to a lot of inadvertent counting of things. Um,
So all the 3 numbers are bunk then. In other words, everything that points to 3 is bunk in this room. The mouse, the 3 guys, the painting,
well, yeah, to the extent that,
rafters.
yeah.
What do you guys make of that soldier in the painting? I always thought it was like some kind of Mesoamerican, like Aztec-looking guy, but maybe just because of the posture and the angle. But now that I look at it more, it looks sort of Greek or Roman.
Sort of looks like Jason with the Aegis, which he's about to reflect the Medusa's face off of.
Oh, yeah.
Possible, but you know, whatever. It could be any Greek hero with a shield and sword, right? Or any non-Greek
Yes.
hero, Mesopotamian, Sumerian, Egyptian. It doesn't look Egyptian. Well, it sort of does look Egyptian, actually. The 2D sort of perspective of it, but I don't
That's
think
why I
it's.
was thinking Mesoamerican.
Hey, do you guys see a lowercase a between the
Yeah.
legs?
I saw that. I was looking at the PDF. I saw that for the first time right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It fits your whole
What's up with
Apple theory.
It does sort of. I mean, it does say in the text there about dust obscuring a damaged painting, so that it's hard to tell what the artist intended. And it could be what's being obscured on that painting there by the dust.
Hmm.
You mean to say that the other half of the painting doesn't even matter if you can see the A?
Yeah, maybe. One other thing we should mention, and this is something I think Sarah mentioned first, which is the door, the dirt that's scooped away in front of door 3. We're not really sure what to make of that. We were talking, Alex and I, a little before we went on the air. Alex mentioned that it's kind of dug out there, so maybe mice could run underneath it, which I think is not a bad observation. The way the dirt is piled up, sort of in the doorway, my first thing was to say, well, it's just dirt swept away from where the door would swing open, and so that's why there's dirt everywhere there. But it doesn't really fit with the picture. Like, the way the dirt is piled up in the corner of the door frame there, that dirt is still blocking the opening of the door. So it's hard to say what's going on there, but I like the idea that there is a little bit of tunneling done under there so that a small animal can get through.
The alternative thing too is that the door might push, not pull. So if you push it, then the dirt might not be affected. And
Yeah, but that handle makes it look like it's a push door.
it could be the same handle on the other side. You never know.
Possible.
But you're
Yeah, we
right.
don't get to see
It is a pull
the
handle.
other
It
side.
does look like a pull. It also looks like a telephone from the 80s.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Anything else picture-wise in this room?
I don't. The mine shaft. I think we mentioned that. I'll just briefly summarize it. This goes to 27. Since the dirt is in this room, the workmen, as they're referred to, probably went from 9 to 27. Should I read the text?
Yeah, sure.
Would appear to be an old storeroom. Dust obscured a damaged painting, making it hard to understand just what the artist had intended. This could be a trick of some sort, one said. We might be going around in circles. I don't think so, said the thoughtful one. I think we're supposed to think it's a trick. That's the trick.
Now, did you affect that voice mid-sentence because you realized it was the thoughtful one and the thoughtful one's the girl?
I confess.
Come on.
They all looked at me. Yes, I said. I'm sure you're right about that. With doubtful looks, they left for...
Yeah, we kind of hit all those points when we were discussing the room already, I guess, what we had to say.
Almost. But did we want to say anything else about other interpretations of the trick line? If we agreed that it doesn't seem like a strong pointer to the last couple of lines?
Oh, go ahead if you got... Man, I remember we talked about that on The Abyss a long time ago, and I didn't go back and reread it for tonight, which is unforgivable. I can't remember what was said about the tricks before.
Yeah, I don't have any strong ideas right now. I was just bouncing it out there because we only talked about it in a negative sense of things we didn't think it connected to, but there must be something that he's trying to communicate there. It's just hard to understand just what the artist intended here.
Yeah, I mean, I know I mentioned when you do something 3 times, it's referred to as a hat trick, and the word trick appears 3 times, but, you know, so what? I mean, I guess you can cut out some extraneous details there and say, trick appears 3 times. 3, it's a trick. And that seems as good as anything else you're going to do with that. But then the word think appears 3 times too. What does and it's repeated when it doesn't really need to be repeated. So what's that mean? Was 3 have to do with thinking? Anything? I mean, it seems like if he's trying to associate 3 with the word trick by repeating trick 3 times, he would be careful about repeating other words 3 times as well, and what meaning that they might have. And think and trick are kind of a weird combination, unless he's saying think trick. Oh. I don't think I have anything else really left to say. I always have had the impression that this is a painting that includes the Minotaur, of Theseus fighting the Minotaur, that's been damaged so that you don't see the Minotaur anymore. Kind of like how the Notice in 6 is damaged so that you can't see what the identity of the guide is that they're trying to reveal.
Yeah.
But there's not really a lot of clues to that. Just I'd always thought that looked like a Greek warrior, and the painting was damaged so you couldn't see what the warrior was encroaching upon. So that just to me suggested Minotaur.
The only thing about the oh wait, no, he did have a sword. What? I thought that Theseus.
Theseus did have a sword. He did not have a shield, though.
Yeah, I thought that he didn't have anything except for the ball of string, but apparently he did have something. So.
It depends on what you're reading, because sometimes he has a club, sometimes he went in with nothing. In House of Mysterion, he kills the Minotaur with a bronze sword.
In the story when I was a kid, it was a dagger, because it was concealable. It was like Ariadne gave him the ball of twine and a dagger because it was concealable. Well, he was, prostrating himself before Minos.
Mm-hmm. But there's no correct answer on that one exactly.
Oh no! Here we go. Here's the correct answer. We've got 3 men, and the painting has been tore, and we have the 2 things that start with A, so it's Minotaur. That's how you get Minotaur.
Sarah will love that one.
Finally, we got that guy puzzle out of the way. No, we don't have to do a separate episode about it.
All right. Series over, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
It was a fun year. It was a good year we had. But now that it's all solved, we'll move on to our room escapes. I think that's it for tonight. We done for tonight? That was a short show, but I don't think we've got any more.
I think we're just going to keep going in circles.
Yeah.
26 minutes. Ah.
All right, so that's it for tonight. We're reaching the end of this series. We're gonna be done with the rooms pretty soon. This weekend, we're gonna be doing sort of a new non-maze related puzzle show about room escape games. It'll be on the same channel. If you're watching this, you'll be able to watch that. Hopefully, you'll watch us and enjoy that. We'll talk to everybody later.
Yeah.